Let us welcome the second speaker. The second speaker is Ms Karen Okajima.
Her speech title is, "Now it is our turn to support underprivileged children." Now it is our turn to support underprivileged children. So, Ms Okajima, please come up to the stage.
Thank you, Masters of Ceremony and honorable judges. Good afternoon. The things that went on there that day, should we tell her about it? Now, what should we do? Well, what would you do if your mother asked you? After rereading this page repeatedly, I closed the book. The Cat in the Hat, written by Dr. Seuss. When I was a young girl, English picture books opened up the world to me more vividly than anything else. My dream is to bring peace to the world through education. For me, peace means that all people are able to get proper education. By doing so, we can promote social development or economic growth and significantly contribute to the achievement of other development goals set by the United Nations. When I think about peace, my own experiences lead me to the idea that we can make the world more peaceful with English picture books. There are 3 reasons for this belief. First, they provide a window to learn about the world. From an early age, students can get exposed to a variety of values and different cultures through English, which helps them develop an international mindset. Second, picture books help us develop our imagination. Colorful English picture books stimulate the brain, nurture a richer imagination, and improve concentration and vocabulary. And third, they provide a window to learn about the world. One of the reasons why developed countries cannot continue to provide assistance to developing countries is that they cannot speak the local language. If people could speak English, the universal language, they would be independent and their national strength would increase. For these reasons, I am convinced that English picture books will be a great help to children's future. When I was in elementary school, I learned about international issues and became interested in international society. In the 6th grade, I was the only elementary school student in Japan to pass the United Nations English Proficiency Test, Level A, and received the President's Award of the United Nations Association of Japan. At that time, however, I realized that I had not taken any action. I then thought that what I could do now was to communicate international issues to society and have a positive impact on the world. Therefore, when I was in the 1st year of junior high school, I joined the Japanese branch of the international NGO Earth Guardians. I have the opportunity to exchange opinions on social issues with peers nationwide and make recommendations to the government and other entities. Since the 2nd year of junior high school, I have been planning, reporting, and writing for Yomiuri Junior Press, the Yomiuri Shimbun's Children's Press Corps. In the course of this activity, I mainly promote themes related to solving international problems. Since the 3rd year of junior high school, I participate in nationwide events and speech contests, aiming to contribute to international peace by sharing my thoughts and experiences with others through presentations. I learned that Cambodia, Despite being one of the developing countries with significant efforts in English education, lacks English teachers and English picture books. Consequently, when I heard about the JCI Japan Global Youth Ambassador to the United Nations, last summer, a project aimed at developing leaders with a global perspective, going to Cambodia for an 8-day training program, I decided to apply. I called for donations from fellow students at the school I attend and collected 100 English picture books. I wrote an article about this activity for Yomiuri Junior Press, the children's press corps of the Yomiuri Shimbun to which I belong, and it was published in the national edition of the Yomiuri Shimbun. The Junior Chamber of Commerce of Japan, which sponsors the program, also endorsed it and allowed me to choose from among several candidates the school to receive the donated books during my training in Cambodia. I chose an elementary school with a capacity of 20 students in the poorest area of the country where the environment was most challenging, and we visited the school. The teachers were delighted, and the children looked at the picture books as if they were devouring them. International contribution is a shared responsibility of those living in the international community. It is the obligation of the modern state. These are some words from Sadako Ogata's resignation speech when she worked at UNHCR. Though I am not a returnee, I became familiar with English picture books at home during my early childhood. As a kindergartner, I started reading many Western books and passed the English proficiency test, ACAN Level 2, at a young age. Based on my experience, reading many Western books up to the 3rd grade of the ACAN allows for daily conversation level proficiency. Being proficient in English enables effective communication with people from other nations, thereby enhancing national capabilities. As I was able to dream through English picture books, I want to provide dreams and opportunities to all children. We all have various roles to play in international cooperation, and this contribution is only possible because of our individual abilities. Do you have medical skills? You can support local healthcare initiatives. Are you knowledgeable about agriculture? Why not impart farming techniques to local farmers? These are just some few examples. Until now, the environment in which we grew up has encouraged us and provided kind support. Now, it is our turn to extend our hands to the children in developing countries. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Okajima. Now, we have a question and answer session. Mr. Kubota, please.
Okay, Karen-san, thank you so much for your speech. So, my first question is that you say one of the reasons why developed countries cannot continue to provide assistance to developing countries is that they cannot speak the local language. So, that's why you're trying to educate people in developing countries.
Yes.
Well, you're trying to carry out English education.
Yes.
But shouldn't that be the opposite? I think those who teach should learn more about the local language and local culture. Isn't that more important than making the people in developing countries to study English?
Yeah, I agree. I think it is really important to increase the number of people who have the enough ability to teach. But for example, in Japan, even though the English education has been mandatory in elementary schools, the ability the English ability among children has been decreasing. And the reason why is because there aren't enough people who can teach English to children. So I think a solution I can think of right now is to increase the number of ALT, the assistant language teachers. And in order to do that, the government should spend more money on that. Yeah, that's my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, my next question. Well, I think it is okay to let them study English, but
Yeah.
in the first place, they have to study their mother tongue, right?
Yeah.
So, wouldn't teaching English lead to destroying or like vanishing the pre-existing unique culture and language in developing countries? And if so, what is the difference from invasion?
Okay, thank you. Well, from my own experience, well, as I said in my speech, I was able to both read my Japanese picture books and English picture books at the same time. And well, there is a research data that shows people our ability of speaking our modern our native language can't surpass our a second language. So yeah, I think there is no worry, and yeah.
Okay, so you say no, there is no worry. So maybe going to be my last question. So, for example, think about Africa, or maybe it's okay to think about Cambodia.
Yeah.
For decades,
Yeah.
there has been continuous support towards developing countries.
Yes.
But they are still developing countries. They are still poor. I think the support includes English education, of course.
Yes.
But I think there's going to be kind of like a fundamental problem lying down because it's still not being solved, right?
Yes.
So how should we tackle with this fundamental problem, and what can we individuals do?
Okay. Thank you for your question. I think the most important thing, the thing we have to prioritize right now is to help children go to schools, because if they can't go to schools, I think nothing happens. But of course, I know that there are areas in those developing countries where children have to work in the day and they can't go to school. So there are three ideas that I can think of right now. First one is to make the classroom times flexible to help children come to school after they work. And also to adopt some job training programs to help parents become independent. And I think the most important one is to gain the understanding from the parents and the native areas the importance of education, because they are the ones that have to let children come to school. And yeah, I think as individuals, that's the thing we can do. Thank you.
Okay, very clear answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kubota and Ms. Okajima. Please go back to your seat.